Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. It is not impossible to go through the season unbeaten, and I can't see why it's shocking to say that. Arsene Wenger's words were largely met with ridicule from the British media ahead of the 02-03 season. That season, Arsenal would go on to lose 6 matches and finish behind United. It looked like the media had been proven right, but the very next season, Wenger promptly fixed that, emphatically going the entire season unbeaten and becoming the first side to win the Golden Premier League trophy. But what tactics did he use that led to this? In this video, we take a look. Just before then, if you want to keep up with the latest news, match reschedulements and updates on when the league will be back, check out the OneFootball app. It will also give you stats about your favorite team. It's a great app, available for Android and iOS, free through the link in the description below. How did the squad change ahead of the 03-04 season? They didn't lose any major players, with David Seaman's transfer to City being the most notable. The major incoming was Jens Lehmann at the start of the season, and in January, Jose Antonio Reyes was the major incoming. They did sign players like Fabregas, Clichy and Van Persie, but their major contributions will be a few seasons down the line. Let's dig into the tactics. Wenger lined up primarily in a base 4-4-2 and had a clear preferred starting 11 as shown. The important part of the team was the contrast in the pairings as shown, which gave the team balance in many phases of play. But how did they look to build up from deep? A key element of the Invincibles was how quickly they moved the ball around, both horizontally as well as vertically, making the most of the pacey players they had in the team. This started from new goalkeeper Jens Lehmann, who was always quick to distribute the ball to defenders. Kolo Touré was key in maintaining the distribution of play. Initially a defensive midfielder, he was more comfortable on the ball and making the quick distribution decisions needed, as most teams played a 4-4-2. This was aided by another of Arsenal's key tactics, which was staggering the lines. Gilberto Silva would drop deep to create a better passing angle, and this was also backed up by Dennis Bergkamp doing the same, so Arsenal formed more of a 4-2-3-1. Staggering the lines would mean they had men between the lines if the opposition maintained their 4-4-2 shape. But if they pressed, this would create better passing angles for Arsenal to move up the pitch. Vieira, in these deep phases, wouldn't advance too high up the pitch, instead providing another passing option. This 3 versus 2 meant that they could maintain possession and move the team up the pitch. If they were going to favour central attacks, Henry often pushed the defence deeper by staying on the shoulder, and Vieira would push high, close to Bergkamp, giving them numbers here. Interestingly, if the opposition stayed fairly deep, Kolo Touré often pushed slightly higher, just behind the midfield, to provide an option. The central overload could be compounded by Robert Pires, who liked to drift into the left half space on his right foot. Ashley Cole was more than happy to make up for the width by moving high up the pitch in these situations. Laurent was capable of attacking, but with Ljungberg maintaining his width at times, he would stay deeper. This central overload meant that they could get the ball to Dennis Bergkamp, and Vieira would be the third man runner, in addition to the other providing passing options. Bergkamp may not have had the most impressive assists or goal-scoring numbers, but he was undoubtedly the orchestrator, being the catalyst for many attacking moves and making key passes, not just assists. But both Pires and Henry were comfortable getting on the ball from just outside the box and looking to curl in a shot. However, if the opposition compacted the centre, Arsenal could just as easily spread the ball wide and look to cross, as they could now easily look to overload the box. Pires' impact from the inside left channel was visible. From here, he could comfortably score and assist, with his 14 league goals being a great return. He could also create, with his defense splitting passes, meaning that he still got several assists. Alternatively, the left-hand side was a great attacking option. One of Henry and Pires would be on the inside left channel, trying to attract the fullback or centre-back, whilst the other looked to make the left-hand side overload with Ashley Cole. With Henry having drifted away from his position, Dennis Bergkamp was then comfortable moving to the forward role to occupy the remaining centre-back. At the same time, Ljungberg was a contrast to Pires. Whereas Pires liked to drift infield fairly early to help to create, Ljungberg did so when he was high up the pitch, to attack the box rather than zone 14, so he would thus be another option inside the box. At these times, Laurent would move higher up the pitch, while Silva drifted deep, ready to cover either fullback. So the three could look to allow an overlapping run for the cross. Often the ball came to Henry here though, and Pires made this run to take away a marker, allowing Henry the momentary space needed to open up his body and curl a shot that nestled in the back of the net. Whilst the left-hand side was definitely the stronger, the right was useful as well. Where Pires was more of a passer and an intricate dribbler, Ljungberg used pace effectively to try and bypass markers. It was more often Bergkamp or Vieira looking to support the play, whilst Laurent tried to overlap to provide the cross. When they did lose the ball high up, they often looked to drop back into a medium block, rather than counter-press high up the pitch. They often fell into their 4-4-2, looking to cut off central options through Henry and Bergkamp, who pressed alongside each other. However, at times they gave up the centre, with Henry drifted to the left and Bergkamp looking to provide additional solidity to the midfield, as he didn't have the mobility to press consistently or to cover the wide areas. In many ways, it was a lopsided 4-2-3-1 in defence. Due to their pacey backline, they could afford a medium block with a well-drilled offside line, allowing them to compact the space. Kolo Touré in particular always had an eye out for what was going on behind him, ready to sweep up any loose balls due to his positional intelligence and pace. And Jens Lehmann was one of the more aggressive sweeper keepers, ready to charge out to clear any loose balls. In the midfield, Gilberto Silva sat deeper than Vieira, patrolling the opposition's attackers. Vieira was the more engaged midfielder, capable of covering plenty of space, looking for a loose touch or an opportunity to intercept. At the same time, Pires and Ljungberg were hard-working, looking to lock down the wide areas most of the time. When they were deep, the shape looked like this, and they maintained good positioning for both defending and springing an attack. They were compact horizontally, looking to limit the central space and instead force the opposition wide, and had enough height and positional awareness to deal with this. These plays were effective, leading to them conceding just 26 goals. But when they dropped into these deep regions, they were at their most dangerous. As discussed, a key strength of Lehmann's was the ability to quickly and accurately distribute the ball. He could go quickly to Henry, who had pulled out all the way to the left. With the ball at his feet, his pace was incredible, comfortably taking on a man or two to cushion it home. Alternatively, Bergkamp was excellent at finding space to receive the ball. Vieira and Ljungberg in particular were quick to join the attack, with Silva remaining deep to provide the balance. Vieira's lengthy stride and precise dribbling ate up the pitch, with Henry and Ljungberg providing options. He could release it either way or go on his own for the goal. These tactics made Arsenal nigh on unstoppable. They were comfortably champions, finishing 11 points ahead of second place Chelsea. They won more matches than anyone else with 16 and drew a significant amount with 12, but crucially lost none, securing the elusive Golden Premier League trophy. They scored a league-high 73 goals and only conceded 26, less than anyone else. Henry undoubtedly was the team's standout player, with 30 goals, 8 ahead of second place Shearer, whilst chipping in with 9 assists. Pires and Bergkamp were the second highest contributors, with 11 and 9 assists each, respectively, whilst Pires' 14 goals was significantly more than Bergkamp, who was more the orchestrator and played in less matches. Although the league was their only trophy, it was an achievement that will never be forgotten. But I'm curious, what do you think? Will we ever see another team go unbeaten in the Premier League? And if you enjoyed this, take a look at our other classic team videos, including Klopp's Dortmund, United 07-08, as well as an in-game look at how Liverpool tactically achieved the miracle of Istanbul. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.